Hi everyone, welcome to my cyberspace. In this video, we'll continue our series on how to analyze the data in Excel, and let's get right into it. First of all, welcome to my cyberspace. One of the things you want to do is to be able to get a data set. So I'm using this data from Kaggle, which is this crocodile species data, and I have it already I have it downloaded already. So we could just click on File, Open, and so it's click on Open and click on this data set, and we are good to go. So one of the first things you want to do is I'm going to teach you some really shortcut that will really help us to see this data better. You could maybe bold this, but that might not be, you might not want to do that. So I just did Control B for that. The first thing you want to do is maybe Control A. So when you alight it, make sure that it's not alighting more than what we have here. So if I click on here right now and I do Control A, this is not what I want, because I might have issues when I do. So let me show you that if I do Control A and I then do Control C, it says this again. See what's happening. I have this and this is not what I want, so I'm just going to Control Z. Control Z is to undo what I just did, and it's taking a minute because I did Control Z to undo what I just did. So one of the things you want to do, so you just Control A, make sure that your light is within like where your data stops. And when you do that, so Control T is to make it a table, or you just click on Insert and I click on Table. So when I click on Table, it asks me if my table has an header. Most likely your data, most times data will have an header. If the data is not this, it's going to just show me this. So I need to click on yes, it has an header, or else you uncheck it. So let's say the header, this A here, instead of it being A, it's called observation. Then that is my header. Then I'm going to uncheck this. So I just click OK. And this looks like better. You could also change this color. This is the style, so say clear, right? So, and the way this is, let's leave it the way it was. The way this is, like, so this allows us to like see our data better, to say, okay, based off of this I only have crocodilos, mesipotes. I could also just filter to just that one alone, and I have like lesser, so you see that I don't have anything else. So filter is applied already. So analysis is not just I'm building a report, or I'm building like a visual or whatever it is. It's also as simple as just being able to like manipulate your data set. So we have a couple of data here, and one of the things we can do is we can either like delete some records so that we can have lesser information. So observation ID, most time when it comes to analysis, we don't analyze something based off of ID, like phone numbers, names, or whatever. We don't really analyze that. We analyze things that are common or things that are replicable. Like for example, somebody stays in this state and a couple of persons also stay in that state. Do we want to see people who stay in this state are more, or do we also want to see, for example, like do we have more of adults compared to hatchling? So we can't just say do we have with 1 greater than 2. It's more like ID, so it's not giving us any form of insight for analysis. So we could delete this. Remember, before you start deleting anything in your data, you already have a copy or duplicate already. So I delete this. I know this is the common name. This is still like a lot, but this is probably not too much as we were, but maybe because I have this, let me make sure I select everything back. So this common name is still, not that much, but I could try to delete it. And because we have a copy of our data set, you can always come back to check it out. Scientific name is also something that we might not be able to use for analysis. So this is just walking you through the thinking process of a data analysis. So family, and obviously this is just one. You can't make an informed decision from just something. In analysis, most of the time we have a point of comparison. So what are we comparing crocodile to what, right? So that's we don't do that. So if it's singular or if it's too much, it might not give us any insight. So that's one rule of thumb. So we try to delete this. And genus, now we have 4, which is looks like something that we can. So this process is even for us trying to understand like our data better. So this is a numerical data. We leave it age class. We have this. We have like for sex, date of observation, but let's just leave this. Also, this notes, this is a lot, so we can't use any of them from the analysis. See, observer name. Let me see how many we do have. It's a lot of observer name. Let's delete this. So let's since we have this as a table already, and it's Ctrl Z to undo what I did. Let me delete this. We have this at the table already, and we have fewer information. I know we do have like categorical data. In case you don't know what the categorical data is, my other videos I'm going to be talking about that also in details. But one thing we can do is, so now my I'm not highlighting anything, so you need to do Ctrl A again, but this is not properly highlighting everything, so I need to try to at least click within my data and Ctrl A. So this is properly highlighting, you see. So I then go to insert, then do like a pivot table. You can do recommended pivot table, but I would not recommend that if you're just trying to learn. So click on pivot table, then you just click on leave it the way it is, a new worksheet, except you want to make the pivot table to show right here. But we could do that, but let's do a new worksheet. So right now we have, but I think the advantage of doing the same worksheet is that it allows us to see our data side by side. Let's say pivot table, existing worksheet, then I need to pick, let me pick a location. So you have to pick right here. So this is, so I could maybe scroll left and right to see my data, but that might not be something I want to do, because when you start to run your visuals, then it's all complicated. So that's why you can always switch to be able to like know your data well, to see if you understand. So we know that I want to use sex. So I want to do like a count of how many males or females we have. And now that I deleted the ID, it would have been nice to count based off of the ID, but since I don't have that, I'm going to count based off of something else. So let me see, I wanted to count how many males and female we have. So this is, Excel is smart enough to know whatever you want. And if I say I want to count based off, I can count based off of anything else. And so it does. Let me see what's happening. It's this is not. So I let me say count based off of this. It takes this to sum. I want to count, so instead, because this is not sum, so I'm just going to change value setting to count. So think of count as sum, as in what scenario would I need to count, in what scenario would I need to sum. So if somebody says, let's say their age is 30, there's somebody that is 35, and there's somebody that is 40, and this is male, female, and male. So this is actually what you can do in real life to really know if you're supposed to sum or count. So if I already did my categorical data and I'm counting, let's say this is based off of age, because of this is the length. Let's say this, let's even use the length. The length is 30, and I sum it, and if I sum male, what I will have is 30, because I only have 30 plus nothing. So 30 plus 50 is 80, right? So that's going to be 80. And if I sum female, I'm going to have, so I'm just going to do male, I'm just going to do female, and female is going to be 34. But I want to know, the question is not necessarily summing their length, is to know what is like the number that we have. So what will happen is I'll need to count, okay, I have one, two male, and I have one female, so that's 2 and 1. So based off of sum and based off of count. So try to understand, like, when you need to use count or when you need to use sum. That's something that really save you as a data expert. So I counted already, and you could try to, like, do more stuff or just run a bunch of things. So in the subsequent video, we're going to be talking about like how to further like do this analysis and maybe make any changes and keep working on this same project. In case this video was a value for time, do want to like, subscribe, follow, and share. Thank you.